Hello, my name is Peter Flynn. I'm the Vice Chancellor for Administrative Services and Director of Finance for the Catholic Diocese of Fort Worth, Texas. I've been asked to talk to you a little bit about strategic planning and the role of the Parish Finance Committee in that strategic planning. The term strategic planning comes with many names and many flavors. Some people think it's telling what the future is or figuring out what has to happen next in the life of an entity or an institution. Here we're talking about your parish. And what we're talking about is looking forward and where do we need to be in 5 years, in 7 years, in 10 years, and figuring out what are the steps that we need to take in order to get there. Now, when you look at the future of the church, and you realize that you're talking about an institution that's been around for over 2,000 years, some people question whether we should be talking about the future because we don't know what that future is. But I think it's important in the context of knowing what your parish is doing today, where it is today, and what has happened in the last 5 years to get it to where it is today, and then looking toward the future for where do we need to be in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Very difficult in today's economy and in today's society to really look out very far. But I think it's important to figure out what do you need to do to be prepared, not necessarily what you need to do to actually execute something, but to be prepared to react to what happens in the future. Let's break it down. First and foremost, in terms of finances, you need to do some projecting. What kind of revenue have you had over the last 5 years? The peaks and valleys, how those peaks and valleys were related to the economy. Number two, what did you do with those revenues? What kind of impact did things such as maintenance of buildings or elimination of staff or addition of staff have on the use of those revenues? And then you need to look forward and say, okay, what can we project that we're going to do? If we've been tracking at a 3% increase, what's going to happen in the next 5 years in terms of revenue enhancement? Secondly, physical plant. Do you know what you need to do to maintain your plant over the next 5 years? The fact is that most of our parishes only deal with needs of physical plants after the boiler's gone out, or the compressor's gone out, or the lights don't work anymore. Rather, you should be working with the pastor and bringing in somebody to analyze your facility. What is the life expectancy of all of your systems? What do we need to change? If you have a plant that's 50 years old, I can tell you that the locks and the doors are not probably the safest that are available today. For example, one of the things that many parishes don't realize is that if you keep the heater and the air conditioner going that's 30 years old, you're probably wasting a lot of energy, and you're heating a lot of things that don't need to be heated. So looking at what the cost payback is on changing the systems, regionalizing the systems, putting zones in, things like that are important. And finally, the other area is what is our parish going to look like in 5 or 10 years? Are we going to be changing demographically? Are we going to be changing in terms of where the people are living, where the people are coming from, where the people are going. Have you looked at the age of your parish? If your parish is young and has a school, has the population turned over? And are there young people still coming in? Or is everybody who was in your school still there and now they're grandparents and the young people are no longer living in this neighborhood, living somewhere else? You need to look at these kind of things. You need to get people to help you. You need to bring in some consultants. Go down to the local government and get some information in terms of what their projections are. Gather data, bring it together, and work with the other consultative bodies of the parish in a collaborative way to do a profile of who you are, look at who you're going to be, and figure out where you need to go. The final outcome of all of this is the possibility that you may need to make some changes. And how are you going to fund those changes? So the possibility is you might need to do a capital campaign. Or you need to do an increased offertory campaign or a stewardship campaign. Or you may need to look at changing how you're budgeting and what you put your money to. At the end of the day, with the pastor, you can play a vital role in determining what your parish looks like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Somebody needs to take the lead. The logical group are people that have expertise in budgeting, projecting, revenue enhancement, and physical plant analysis. That's the Finance Council. Your role is to work with your pastor, make this a reality so that you can present to your parishioners who your parish will be in the future.